Hi everybody, it's Kisha with VisionaryLegacyProject.com. Today I'm going to talk about I hate my job, and now what do I do? So obviously, unfortunately, people being stuck in jobs that they can't stand or that they don't like, or maybe they did like but they don't like anymore, is a common thing for those of us working in this lovely entertainment industry. So we'll talk about some strategies and some things you can do to, even if you can't immediately move, to just feel better placed and to feel more comfortable with where you are and what the future holds. So the first thing is perspective. I think one of the most important things we can do right off, especially if we're in a situation that we don't like, which makes us get very squirrely about the day-to-day, is to breathe as much space into our perspective as we can. So to take the long view on our life and to know that wherever you are right now, that in 5 years from now you won't be here. You'll be in a very different place. And so just breathe some life into your perspective. Know that, yes, right now on my path, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but this is important. There are lessons to be learned, and I'm going to take the long view on this and learn the lessons I need to learn so that I can move forward. So just get some perspective on it. That's one. Two is to take full responsibility for how you feel. And that means no blame. You don't get to blame your boss or your coworkers or the stupid people down in marketing, whatever. You don't get to blame anyone. When you take responsibility for how you feel, there's no blame. And there's also another helpful thing to do is to stop being offended. And this is, if you're anything like me, this one is tough. Because I was the queen of getting offended. I could get offended at anything, at any time. While I may not always act on it, there's a kind of chip on the shoulder thing that happens. And it's important, the thing about not being offended, and you'll get tested on this if you make this decision. I'm going to just maybe even say, I did it for 30 days. I said, okay, for 30 days, I'm going to not be offended. And immediately, motherfuckers did lots of things that offended me. Lots and lots of things. And this will probably happen to you. The universe has a very sharp way of testing this proclamation. But here's what starts to happen when you really put it into practice. And it's why it's such a powerful tool. Is that, yes, motherfuckers will act crazy still. They will still say that crazy thing. They will still pop off. It will still be left and crazy and wrong. Yes. But when you decide not to get offended, what happens is, instead of you having that automatic reaction where you get nasty or say something, or your mind starts running through all the ways you're going to stab them in their sleep, you get some space. When you say, okay, I'm not going to be offended, it sort of mutes it. It mutes what's just happened. And it gives the deeper part of you, the intuition part of you, the thinking more clear part of you, a chance to actually react. And 9 times out of 10, when you get rid of the offensive initial reaction and make a decisive reaction based on the space that you've given yourself, what comes out and what comes out of that discussion is a lot more effective. I've had this happen before where I've seen things in emails that someone wrote about me that I wasn't supposed to see. And immediately was like, what the hell? And how could they say that? I had that, and I said, okay, stop. And I said, well, what's behind this? What is this really about? And actually wound up eventually having a conversation with the person, saying, hey, look, obviously, I saw this. I wasn't supposed to see it, but what is this really about? Like, what's happening here? What's going on? And how can we make this better? And it was actually a very productive and very helpful conversation. The person was relieved that I wasn't calling them up acting crazy. I actually got the resolution that I wanted because what was behind it was something useful for the both of us, and we moved on. And it didn't require a whole bunch of drama. It didn't eat up my day the way those things would normally eat up my day. So just an idea to take that on. The other one would be, look, declare your hurts. Declare what it is about your job that you're not happy with to yourself privately. We'll get to that later. Don't make it a thing you do in the meeting, but do it to yourself. And for whatever those hurts are, I'm not growing. My boss is an asshole. Whatever. Whenever you make those declarations, just say, for now, at the end of it, or soften it so that it's, again, this is about keeping your perspective in this moment of time. It's just in this moment of time that these situations are happening. It's just for a moment. It's just this moment that you're in. So declare you're not happy about, but also build in some perspective and just say, well, for now, this is what's not making me happy. Go from there. And then declare the things about your job that you either still love or that are still valuable. And if it's only a paycheck, then declare that paychecks are useful and helpful. But sometimes it's still, I've worked at jobs that I hated, but I loved my coworkers and we all got along really well, and it was a joy to come in to work to work with them. Maybe not with everybody, but with like my core group of people. Find those things about your job, either the part of your job that you still love to do, the people that you still love to work with. There's something, you were in this job for a reason, so at some point there was something about it you liked. So try to find the things in your experience now that you can appreciate, that you can accept, that you can embrace where you are. That's also, I think, very important. The other thing is to get ahead of the negativity. When we're in jobs that we hate, especially the day-to-day grind of the mindset, like the negativity that greets you every day when you open your eyes, is enormous. And so you want to get out ahead of that as much as you can. So whether that's a daily, I think, morning ritual, whatever that is for you, whatever your version of a spiritual practice is, if it's working out, if it's running, if it's meditating, choose in the morning your intention is to have as positive an attitude towards the situation as possible. Make that be your intention, and so you can get out ahead of all the drama and bullshit that will probably await you when you do walk in the door. But you've got your mental, your brain is primed now to keep looking for the good things, to keep working the best out of the situation. The other key, and this is big, I think, especially for those of us in large companies, is to avoid as much as possible commiserating about how horrible your job is with your coworkers. When the company's small, it's trickier because maybe the reason that you hate your job are your coworkers. There's only 5 of you or whatever, so you might not be tempted into this. But for those of us in larger institutions where the problems are happening more, let's say at the top, and you're all kind of on a certain playing field, bitching and moaning as people want to do. But there's a momentum, I think a very dangerous momentum behind a lot of negative energy at jobs, and people sort of keep, wearing over it and wearing over it and wearing over it. And we hate it, you hate it, we hate it, now we hate it because of this. It kind of keeps going. And we swirl into that too often. You get away from doing the work of looking forward, of being objective, of looking out, and taking the long view. And you can't get out ahead of the negativity. It keeps you trapped in the negativity. And it's just, it's not a great place to stay. It's it's a temptation that's hard to avoid, but I would encourage you to do it if you really want to get out of there. And then the other thing is, once you've managed to, get rid of, get out ahead of the negativity, stop the commiserating, declare the things that are helpful about the job, then you'll start feeling, start getting a little eager about what's coming next. The good thing about getting the mindset right ahead of time is that what starts to happen is, once you get your mind going in the right direction, then you're working from a place of, not just motivation, to get a new job or to get out of there or whatever, to make it different, but inspiration. And there's a very big difference in working from a place of inspiration, because you're working from inspiration, then, you know, the things that you decide to do, the calls that you decide to make, the choices that you make become a lot more productive for you. And they're less desperate. And we all know how people can smell desperation in this business. They're less desperate, they're more measured, you have some space, you've breathed some time into it, you're not calling everybody up talking about how horrible your job or boss is. People know that you know how to handle tough situations well, and the work that you're doing, you'll feel better about it. And the funny thing is, sometimes when you do the mind work, your phone starts to ring anyway. I've had that happen to me, where after doing some of the mind work, then somehow people found me, which can also happen. So anyway, so these are just a few tips. You know, obviously there's more intense work and help that someone can do who's in this situation. And I'm available for those one-on-one questions if necessary. But so hopefully this has been helpful in some way. Look forward to talking to you more about these issues and more. And have a great day.